Very good morning, children. How are you all? Hope you are all doing fine. Okay, so welcome to the session. So today we are going to see a lot of things about the circulatory system. So in the last session we have seen the way the circulatory system is very important to us, and also we have seen the connection between the photosynthesis, digestive system, respiration and circulatory system. Okay children, so now we are going to get into the topic which is called as the circulation, the transport system. Okay, so now I want everybody to hear with good concentration, because this is going to be a very important topic, and definitely which usually appears in the examination point of view. Okay, it's very important in the examination point of view. All these questions from this lesson will appear in the examination, and moreover there are so many terms. Right now you'll be learning a lot of terms, like the terminology is very high in this particular unit. Okay, so this they were very when you compare it to the first unit and second unit, this unit has more number of terms. Okay, and also the different terms which you are going to see now are also very important, and they will be definitely used in each and every answer which you write. So that's why I want you to concentrate completely on the terms. Right, whenever I tell a new term, write it and then immediately write what that particular function of that particular term is. So term and its function. So if you are able to do that, it will be very easy for you. Okay, it will be very easy for you, and also it will because you are repeating that, it will be in your memory for a long time. Okay, now we'll come into the unit which is called as the transport system, right? The circulatory system. So now coming to the circulatory system, what are the three major things, or what are the three major parts of the circulatory system? So before going to that, in the year 1816 there was a person, scientist, who is known as René Laennec. Okay, so he's the one who discovered the stethoscope, right? You know what is stethoscope? So always doctors, you put them in their neck, right? Whenever you go for a checkup, they check the heartbeat with the stethoscope. Before that, doctors did not have the stethoscope. They used to keep the ear on the chest of the patient and hear the heartbeat. Okay, after that, Laennec came. He used a bamboo tube instead of that, and he called it as a stethoscope. He also used a paper tube instead of that, and he called it as a stethoscope. So, and you can also do that. So it's an activity. So if you are able to do an stethoscope by yourself, following all the activity based rules in the page number 50, you can also do a wonderful stethoscope for yourself, where you can listen the heartbeat. Okay, now when you come to the circulatory system, there are three major parts in the circulatory system. First one is the heart. As you can see here, I've drawn a heart over there. So that is a heart which is very important in the circulatory system. Second one which is very important is the blood. Okay, third one is the vessels. So the complete circulatory system is based on these three things, that is heart, blood and the blood vessels. So these three play a major role in the circulatory system. So to understand the circulatory system, you have to understand what is heart, you have to understand what is blood, you have to understand what are blood vessels, right? So now from these three, already in 9th class we have covered what is blood. Okay, we have seen the components of blood, we have seen what are the things which are present in the blood. Okay, like RBC, WBC, blood platelets, and in the WBC there are eosinophils, neutrophils, basophils, okay, and monocytes and lymphocytes, and also different components which are present in the blood. So these are all the things which we have already covered in our 9th class, right? So the first thing what we will learn is the heart, right? So heart and its external features, that is what we are going to study now, and after that we'll get into the internal structure of the heart. So children, the first thing what we are going to learn about the heart is the shape of the heart. The shape of the heart. So we say that it is pear shaped, okay, and also we say that it is conical in shape. Okay, it's like a cone. Okay, it's like a cone, and also we can see that now it's like a triangle. It's like a triangle. So you can see here, children, that the shape is pear shaped, and also it is you can say it is conical in shape because it looks like a cone, right? When you see the both ends, that is the anterior end, it is a bit wider. Okay, when you see the lower side, it is a bit narrow. That is, the anterior end, anterior side is wider, and the posterior side it is narrow. Okay, you can also see here this particular part is wide, and whereas when you come to the posterior side, this is a bit narrow. Okay, so this is the wider side. So that is the shape of the heart, right? Shape of the heart is pear or conical in shape, and also it is wider towards the anterior side and narrower towards the posterior side. Now coming to the second one, that is the size, right? Usually the size of the heart is exactly the size of one's own fist. That means when you put a fist like this, so this is the size of your heart. So the heart of my side, the size of my heart is maybe the fist of my heart. So in the same way, you also try to put a fist, and that is the size of your heart. So basically it will be 12 centimeters in length and 9 centimeters in width. Okay, so 12 centimeters length and 9 centimeters width. That's the basic length of the heart. Now, where is this heart located? Now, whenever you see that, whenever we talk about the heart, where is heart located, you always show your left side, which is not at all true. Okay, because the heart is not located towards the left side, but exactly in the center, right? Now, if you take the lungs, right? These are the two lungs here. Now, the heart is exactly located in the center. It is located in the center, okay? But slightly tilted towards the left side like this, okay? So, because of this tilt, towards the left side, we say that the heart is situated towards the left of our body, but that is not absolutely true. It's only tilted towards the left side. Moreover, you know, lot of pressure, like no, lot of strain falls on the left side because the left side is a bit thicker, and they have to put a lot of pressure to pump the blood. That's why, because of that pressure, we feel that the heart is on the left side, because left side, the left ventricle will work more because it has to send the blood to each and every part of our body. So lot of pressure is put on the left side of the heart. So that's why we feel that it's only a feeling. We feel that it is on the left of our heart, but whereas the truth is that it is exactly situated in the center, in between the lungs, and just slightly tilted towards the left side. The other reason is contraction of the left part of the heart is more when compared to the right side of the heart. That's why we feel that it's only a feeling that heart is towards the left side, right? So now coming to the next is how it is protected. Now you might get a doubt that now if this heart is between the two lungs, then how it is protected? Yes, it has a very good protection. I will tell you how. Now if you see here, there is backbone. Okay, which is at the back, which is also called as a vertebral column, and then there are rib cage, right? So now you can see the ribs here. Okay, and then towards the front side there is another bone which is called as the sternum, okay, which is also called as the breastbone, the ribs, and the spinal cord. Okay, all these three, they form a cage-like structure. If you see here, it is forming a cage-like structure, bird cage-like structure, and this cage is called as the rib cage. Okay, and also it is called as the thoracic cage. So it can be called as rib cage, or it can be also called as the thoracic cage. So this thoracic cage, the ribs, the sternum, and also the backbone, right? The ribs, the sternum and the backbone, these three will form a cage-like structure in which the heart is protected. So nothing happens to the heart nor nothing happens to the lungs. So our heart and lungs, which are protected, which are safely or safeguarded in the rib cage, and nothing will happen to them. So that is how our heart is protected, right? Next, now coming to the heart. Okay, children, if you see the heart now, right, this heart has a double membranous structure. It has a double membranous structure. You can see two membranes here. These two membranes are called as the pericardium. What they are called as? Pericardium. Right here. So this pericardium is the double membranous structure which is actually surrounded the heart, okay, which surrounds the heart and protects the heart, especially from the physical shocks and also mechanical injuries. So this pericardium, not only pericardium, but also a fluid is present in between the pericardium, okay, and the kind of fluid is also present in between the pericardium, okay, which is called as the pericardial fluid, pericardial fluid. So this pericardial fluid also protects the heart, right? So the pericardium and the pericardial fluid together will protect the heart from physical shocks and the mechanical injuries. So that is how the heart is protected, right? And this is the membranous structure. This is the double membranous structure which is actually protecting the heart from physical shocks and mechanical injuries, right, children? So till now, what are the things we have seen here? The first one we have seen is the shape. So what is the shape of the heart? Heart shape is like, no, it is pear shape or it is conical shape, right? And the anterior end is wider and the posterior end is narrower, right? And second one is size. The size of the heart is exactly the fist of one's own fist. The size of the heart is exactly of one's own closed fist, right? And third is location. Where it is located? It is located exactly in the center, in between the two lungs, right? So, and slightly tilted towards the left side. That is right. I have written here why left. It is only tilted towards the left, and most of the pressure, right? No, the kind of blood flow and all, everything takes place. The contractions. Now these are the different words for you. So we will talk about these words later. So most of the contractions and all, like the left side of the heart will take it in a big way. So that's why the pressure will be high on the left side. So that's why we say that our heart is towards the left side. Otherwise you can say the heart is only in the middle, okay, middle of the chest and only slightly tilted towards the left. And then we have seen that there is a double membranous structure, okay, double membranous structure which is called as the pericardium, and this pericardium is a double layered structure, okay, and then it is filled with the pericardial fluid, and then this pericardial fluid and pericardium, it will protect the heart from the physical shocks and mechanical injuries. So that is what we learn from this particular external features of the heart. Now coming to the next features of the heart. Now see here, children, when you see the heart like this, you can see a line like this, okay. Now this is a line which is dividing the heart into two equal halves, not equal halves, into two halves, into two parts, right? Now this is called as this one is called as the auriculo ventricular septum. Now why this is called as auriculoventricular septum will come now, okay, you just wait for 2 minutes. Now this space and this space, right, This place is again divided one more line, okay, one more wall-like structure, okay, which is called as the auricle. Okay, sorry. Right, now this particular division, okay, is called as the auricular septum. Auricular septum, and there is one more septum here or wall-like structure which is called as ventricular septum. Now you can see here now, okay, so now there is a septum. Septum is a wall. Septum is nothing but a wall. Like no, there are two rooms here, but this wall is dividing. Okay, this was an empty space before that, but I have built a wall here. So what happens here is now it becomes two rooms, right? This is a room and the other one is the other room. In the same way you have classrooms, right? So what is the division? There's a for the 8th and 9th and 10th classes, there are two walls which makes into three classes, isn't it? In the same way here, there is a wall. Now this is an empty space. There is a wall here which is called as the auriculoventricular septum. Septum is nothing but the wall. Okay, the upper line you can see here, the upper septum you can see here, it is called as the auricular septum, and here you can see another septum here which is called as the ventricular septum. Now we will come to the actual part. Now because of these two divisions, that is auriculoventricular septum, okay, and the auricular septum and ventricular septum, the heart is now divided into how many chambers here? 4 chambers. You can see 4 parts here, right? And these 4 parts are called as the chambers. Now these 4 are called as the chambers, right? Now these chambers we are going to give a name, right? Okay, we are going to give it a name. The upper 2 chambers are called as the atria, atria, or else we also call it as the auricles. We also call them as the auricles. So how many auricles are there? 2 auricles are there. So if I'm standing like this is my right side and this is my left side. So now this is the right atrium and this is the left atrium. Okay, right atrium and left atrium. Atrium or auricle. So both are called as the atria. Okay, only one, if you're talking about one, it is called as the atrium. Atrium is singular, atria is plural. Okay, atria, or else you can also call it as the auricle. Auricle, right auricle, left auricle, right atrium, left atrium. Okay, so now you take this septum, because it is dividing the auricles, right? It is dividing the auricles. We are calling it as the auricular septum. So this auricular septum which is dividing the auricles into 2, and it is making a right auricle and left auricle. Okay, and now you can see here, this is the one which is called as ventricular septum. Ventricular septum, because it is dividing these 2 ventricles. Now these 2 are called as the ventricles. Now this is called as the right ventricle. This is called as the left ventricle. So these left ventricle and right ventricle are divided by a septum which is called as the ventricular septum. Now the auricles and ventricles are divided by a septum which is called as the auriculoventricular septum. Auriculoventricular septum. Okay children, so this is the auricular septum and this is the ventricular septum. Auricular septum is dividing the auricles into right auricle and left auricle. Left ventricular system is dividing the ventricles into right ventricle and left ventricle. Now this auriculoventricular septum is dividing the heart into auricles and ventricles. Okay, so these are the 3 terms which you have to remember. Okay children, so now these are the different parts like which you find in the heart, right? So we have seen the pericardium layer, we have seen the auricular septum, ventricular septum, auriculoventricular septum, okay, and also we have seen the auricle, right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle and left ventricle. Okay, so these are all the different things. Like now, if you see here in the diagram, you can see now this is the right auricle. This is the right auricle and this is the left auricle. This is the right ventricle and this is the left ventricle. So, okay, now we shall stop here. So without much confusion, okay, what we'll do is we'll try to continue the class tomorrow so that you can remember all these terms. I want you to write all the terms in a book, okay, and then write about that. Write about that. What is the function, right? For example, if you write pericardium, pericardium is a double layered structure present around the heart. It has a pericardial fluid. It protects the heart from the physical shocks and mechanical injuries. Second one is the auriculoventricular septum. It will divide the heart into auricles and ventricles. And then coming to the auricular septum, it divides the auricle into left auricle and the right auricle. And then ventricular right septum, it will divide the ventricle into right ventricle and left ventricle. Okay, so any other things we have, let's study about, right? Write the shape, write the size, write the location, and write also why it is why we think that the heart is on the left side. So all these things, like you put it on the paper, and that will help you a lot to understand the next session. So if you have any doubts regarding this, please text me. I think you have my mobile number, okay, so that I can clarify the doubts tomorrow. Okay, children. Okay, then see you all. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.